Imagine a world without gasoline stations. Hard to picture, isn't it? But it might be closer than you think. We're on the cusp of a seismic shift in the automotive industry, where the hum of electric motors may soon drown out the growl of gasoline engines. This transition is not a question of if, but when. So, what's fueling this shift? And how do electric and gasoline vehicles stack up against each other? So let's dive into the world of electric and gasoline vehicles and find out which one truly holds the key to our future. First up, let's talk about the money. Because let's face it, that's what most of us are really interested in. When you're comparing the total cost of ownership between electric vehicles and gasoline vehicles, there are several factors to consider. You've got the purchase price, fuel costs, insurance, and resale value. The initial cost of an electric vehicle is typically higher than that of a gasoline vehicle. However, when you factor in the cost of fuel, the scales start to tip. Electric vehicles are far cheaper to run, with electricity costing considerably less than gas. Plus, with fewer moving parts, they often have lower maintenance costs. Insurance can be a bit of a mixed bag, with some insurers offering lower premiums for electric vehicles, while others charge more. As for resale value, electric cars tend to depreciate slower, meaning you could get more back when you decide to sell. So while electric cars might cost a pretty penny up front, they could save you a bundle in the long run. But it's not all about the money. What about the day-to-day experience? Let's delve into this. When it comes to daily usability, electric cars are a mixed bag. They're a breeze to use if you have easy access to charging facilities at home or work. But the situation can be challenging when you're on the move. Charging stations aren't as ubiquitous as gas stations yet, and even when you find one, recharging takes longer than refueling, which could be a deal breaker for those always in a rush. Now let's talk about driving. Electric cars offer instant torque, meaning quicker acceleration, and they're also whisper quiet, which can make for a serene drive. Handling-wise, the low center of gravity due to the placement of the battery pack can improve cornering abilities. On the flip side, gasoline cars offer a familiar, time-tested driving feel that many drivers still prefer. They also offer greater range and quicker refueling times. While electric cars provide a unique driving experience, their usability still largely depends on your lifestyle and location. Now let's talk about the upkeep. And no, we're not just talking about car washes and tire changes. When it comes to maintenance costs, there's a clear and often overlooked winner. Electric vehicles, or EVs, generally have lower maintenance costs than their gasoline counterparts. Here's why. EVs have fewer moving parts. No engine, no transmission, no exhaust system. This means fewer things to break down, fewer things to replace. Now, don't get us wrong. EVs are not maintenance-free. They still need tire rotations, brake checks, and battery monitoring. But the costs associated with these tasks are typically less than the traditional oil changes, belt replacements, and tune-ups required by gasoline vehicles, so in the long run, EVs can be easier on your wallet when it comes to maintenance. But what about the environmental impact? Well, it's no secret that gasoline cars emit carbon dioxide, contributing to air pollution and climate change. EVs, on the other hand, produce zero tailpipe emissions. Yes, the production of the vehicles and their batteries does have an environmental impact, but studies have shown that over their lifetimes, EVs still come out ahead in terms of overall emissions. And let's not forget about resource usage. Gasoline cars require oil, a finite resource. EVs run on electricity, which can be produced from a variety of sources, including renewable ones. So not only could an electric car be lighter on your wallet in terms of maintenance, but it could also be lighter on our planet. So where does all this leave us in the electric versus gasoline debate? Let's recap. From a total cost of ownership perspective, electric vehicles may have a higher upfront cost, but they tend to balance out over time with lower running and maintenance costs. When it comes to daily usability and driving experience, electric vehicles offer an incredibly smooth ride and instant torque, but the range and charging infrastructure might be a concern for some. As for maintenance costs and environmental impact, electric vehicles clearly take the lead with fewer moving parts to replace and zero tailpipe emissions. However, it's essential to remember the environmental footprint of battery production and disposal. Ultimately, the choice between electric and gasoline vehicles depends on individual circumstances and priorities. Are you an urban dweller with access to charging infrastructure? Or someone who frequently embarks on long road trips? Do you prioritize environmental sustainability or initial cost savings? The future of cars might be electric, but for now, the decision between electric and gasoline is still very much in your hands. So, which one will you choose?